All righty, here we go. Hi, everybody, and happy Sunday. I'm Jane Brody, and welcome everybody to the Journeys series, where it was originally inspired by my husband's journey across the Pacific. And I realized how many parallels there are to my business and our business with changing careers in midlife and really consciously creating your life. And so I've been asking my friends and business partners to come on board and share their stories with me. And I'd like to welcome my friend Liz tonight. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Jane.
Liz and I met through this business a couple of years ago, and we really instantly connected. I think two former corporate execs connected really well on whatever level. I think we just spoke the same language and made some really significant changes at similar points in our lives, right?
Yeah.
And so, Liz, I would love to have you share a little bit about your background.
Sure, great. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Very happy and excited to be here and share a little bit of my story. In terms of background, Jane, from a professional perspective, I am, recovering corporate executive, 16 years in technology and finance, the last 8 of which of that career were here in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I was a vice president of technology and product development at Charles Schwab in the institutional division. So that's my corporate background.
Sounds very official. And with a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah, I managed some very large teams, both in the product development and marketing side of the house, and then also as Schwab technology began to become so important there, also managing teams on the technology side of the house.
Okay. And you enjoyed your job for a long time, right?
Yeah, for a long time, I enjoyed the career in finance and technology, but what I found was as I rose up the ranks, I sort of became less and less enchanted with what I was doing. I realized I was getting further away from the client and further away from impacting people's lives individually and with knowledge of that on a daily basis. And I was missing that. And I thought, as I looked sort of further on, what was coming was not jazzing me.
Yeah. Well, isn't it interesting? I think it's kind of a false expectation to think that you're going to stay in a career your whole life, right?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, Jane, because when I was growing up, my role model was my father. He was incredibly supportive of me and as a woman who wanted to work and be in business, etc. But he was a doctor, and he was a doctor for over 50 years. So
wow.
I had to get over the belief that you stayed in one thing, which you chose in college. I mean, that's so bizarre. That actually it's more normal to change. And so I had to kind of get over that and get over my role, that being my role model, and come up with some new ones.
So you really had to give yourself permission, right, to make a change. What was the catalyst? Like, what usually, people get to this point of just like they're comfortable being uncomfortable. I know that's a overly used phrase in some respects, but they're just used to, like, I don't like my job, but I don't want to switch, right?
Yeah.
So usually there's a catalyst. Was there one for you?
Yeah, I had, like I said, was becoming more and more disenchanted with the job and the career and what the future held. I'd been through several business cycles in finance. I had hired and fired and laid off a lot of people. And I also missed the creativity. There was something inside of me that was looking for something more creative. And I felt like I had something different professionally that needed to be exposed that I needed to work on and focus on. I was burned out, and I don't like to use that term because it's sort of overused.
Yes.
But the truth is that I just didn't like it more than 75% of the time. And I have this kind of internal minimum business standard where I need to like my job more than 75% of the day, of the week, or the month, of the year. And if not, then a change needs to happen.
And I think, that's a really important point, because I think a lot of people don't even expect to like it that much. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur almost my whole life, even though I worked for corporate for about 10 years, but I've never understood the dreading Monday, celebrating Friday thing. It's like, I want to enjoy every day.
I know, and we deserve
and I'm 80-20.
So you deserve to. And also I wanted to be that role model also to my children. I have young adult children, and I wanted to be a role model to them, to show them that you can love what you do and you can change. And there's so many chapters in our professional lives. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. So how did you find our model? What spoke to you about the network marketing model that we're in, and what called to you?
Yeah, well, after I retired from Schwab, I knew a couple things. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody else. I wanted to work for myself. I knew that I wanted to be somewhere, impacting people on a daily basis and making a change in their lives. And I knew that I needed some sort of platform to leverage myself. Okay, so I had gone into beauty. I'd made a big switch into beauty, and I had my own makeup and hair business, but it was onesie, twosie at a time, and I still have that business, and I really enjoy helping women look and feel their very best. I truly love that gratification and believe in it very strongly. I believe that inner beauty and outer beauty are forever entwined. However, I can't make as big an impact as I want to without leveraging myself, right? This is an hourly business, makeup and hair. I'm not in the studio doing somebody's makeup. I'm not getting paid. So I realized that I needed to add on something in addition to this business. And I, kind of stumbled into network marketing. Unlike you, did a lot of great research on it. I stumbled into it. But when I did that deep dive, Jane, when I kept my mind open and I researched it, I realized that this was the business model I had been looking for since I graduated from Dartmouth. I mean, I'm aging myself now because that's a long time ago, but I love this business model. First of all, I mentioned that I didn't like hiring and firing people anymore. I mean, I was done with that.
Yeah.
And with, the network marketing model, it's not about hiring and firing. You're building a team. It's incredibly positive. Everybody is, their own boss. They're working for themselves, but you're not by yourself. So I still get to mentor and coach people, which I loved doing at Schwab, but I don't have the hiring and firing part. So I love that. I loved that for the skincare business that you and I are in, we don't have to inventory any of the products, whereas in my other businesses, I have to do that, okay? And FYI, counting lipsticks and makeup brushes and all that good stuff, that's not fun. So the fact that I get to outsource things like customer service, shipping, inventory, that's what I want to pay somebody to do. I mean, that's what, like, you guys do that. I get to do the fun stuff and interact with the client. So I love that. And I felt like I had been reorged out the wazoo, we used to say in corporate America. Anybody that comes in new, right? They have to make their mark and redo the departments and everything. Well, there's no territorial boundaries in the business that you and I are in. And so I just loved that because, as I went to college back east, I have tons of friends back there. I love international travel. I mean, I just love that I can build my business the way I want to. So, I mean, the model, once I did the research, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it existed.
Well, and also I think most people don't realize, and you certainly appreciate, is that it's an asset. It's willable, saleable, transferable. That is a big, big deal. You're not working hourly like you are in your makeup and hair business, and you're able to leverage that and build it over time.
Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, when I was in the institutional division at Schwab, we were always trying to advise and consult and help independent financial advisors with their exit strategy from their companies. And it's not easy. And the fact that I can build my own business that is, willable like that, and there is an exit strategy is just amazing. I mean, it's an amazing model.
Yeah, I know. It really is. So did you have an objection when you were looking at this business model?
I did. I was worried about what other people would think about me, sort of what is this corporate finance gal, corporate America, hard charging gal doing? And I have to tell you, one of the things that I disliked about corporate America was me. As I rose to the ranks, Jane, I didn't like the person I was becoming. I was not handling the stress well. And so my objective in growing my own business, working for myself, yet coaching and helping other people, is to see if I can be successful and build a great business and impact people positively and still like myself. Be somebody that people want to work with, not just for. And so, I mean, that's kind of my short-term objective. Long-term objective, I mean, this thing can explode, right? I'm really looking forward to international travel. I mean, we're open in lots of countries. I love that. I'm looking forward to growing a large organization and all working in the same direction, and impacting other people's lives on an individual basis. I mean, it's really, it's kind of that perfect in-between model. It's not corporate America, but it is not sole proprietor. And that's, where I was before I brought on skincare. And sole proprietor is lonely.
Oh,
It's
lonely, and it's also dangerous. If something happens, and you're not able to work, there's nothing to fall back on,
Yeah.
And there's no golden parachute. It's interesting. I've never heard you say you didn't like who you were becoming in corporate, because I hear you on that, and I don't think it's all that uncommon, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a different model. I think you once said, it's our model, right? The network marketing model is cooperative, not competitive.
Yes.
Against one another.
Yeah.
And that to me is something I really hadn't experienced. And wow, it just has really fed me from a, managerial perspective and from a friendship perspective. And I just really, again, I stumbled on it, didn't know it was there, and I'm so incredibly grateful.
Well, it's interesting because we achieve our goals by helping other people achieve theirs. And, that's hard to understand from a corporate perspective when it's all like this, and just broadening the base of possibility is pretty amazing. And I think having conversations like this too, I certainly never had those in corporate.
I know, that's a great point.
And now every day it's like, what do you want your life to look like? What are you creating? Where do you want to be in 3-5 years or 1 year? And this is how we can help you get there.
Yeah. Right. Let's walk it back. Okay, where do you want to be? All right. Let me boom, boom, boom. Okay, I can coach you. I can get you there. Working together. It's very empowering.
Yeah, it is. It is. And every day it just gets bigger. And that's what I like too, being not only in a growth industry, but a growth mindset, not having anyone else dictate that, but you or me,
I wake up and I think, I wonder who I'm going to help today. I wonder who I'll meet today that, in some one way or another, I'm going to be able to give back, help them, and make them feel good. Right? I mean, my gosh, if you can do that every day, you won.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow, what a journey.
I know.
And it's only been a couple years for you. So what are you most excited? And that's the thing about network marketing, is that it moves really fast. It's like such a compressed time frame because it's leveraged. So things can change really fast and they can happen really fast. And that's what's so exciting, and how people can do it alongside really busy lives and jobs, because you're doing this alongside your other business.
Yeah.
But what are you most excited about looking forward in the next, 2 to 5 years?
I'm in it for the long haul, man. I'm sticking here and I'm building my empire, but bringing everybody with me. And I would say, I'm really looking forward to international travel. And as we grow, I already have business building in Australia. I'm looking forward to opening up Canada. And I know that this company is going to go even further with other countries. So that's super exciting. But
Yeah.
Jane, like the thing that I love so much that happens every day, but that I also can see expanding, is the women that I meet doing this business. The caliber of the women is incredible. I just earned a fabulous retreat in Arizona, and I met literally 10 people I'd never met before. And I was just blown away by the quality and the stories and how this business has changed their lives. And I thought, you know what? Every time one of these things is offered, I am going to go for it so that I can meet more of these gals. I mean, I just love it. Like, that's the fun part, right? That's living every day, meeting new people, making new friends, and it's all positive and supportive. And you just hear these incredible stories about how lives do change. And it can be as small as, you really help somebody with their skin. And we know, like I said, inner beauty, outer beauty, forever entwined. It's incredible. But it can be as big as dramatically. Like, I met this gal in Arizona that, she went from a closet organizer to literally retiring her husband, building a huge house, having an incredible wedding for her daughter. I mean, just, life-changing.
Yeah. And I think that's what this model provides too, is the ability to make choices and not have them made for you. And that's a really big deal.
Yeah. And it can be, I've got people that I work with who are excited because, it's an extra $500 a month. And I've got people, who are working to replace their current full-time income, because 70% of us, I couldn't believe that number, all have other full-time jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is so flexible. I need that flexibility, right? I've got a whole other business I'm running.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a family. My mother's ill. I mean, I need the flexibility that this model provides. And so right now it can be X to me, the business, and in 2 years it could be Y to me, and then Z, et cetera, right? It's that. I mean, I don't know of any other model that's that flexible.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And you can fit it in when you fit it in. I think the key is just consistency and commitment, which you have in spades as you consciously create what your future looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It has to be with intention.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I'm so glad, I so agree with you with the relationships that are made. We wouldn't have met without this business, and I so treasure and value our friendship. And so many women that are really creating their lives, creating their futures, and having, that impact on others, that positive impact and growth on others. So, So fun to explore people's journeys, and get down to what's the driver and what they see for their future. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing this. You go after it. Keep on it, man. You're amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, all right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and have a great week ahead. And keeping that 80-20, consciously create that future, right? 80-20 or better. I love your Mondays. All right. Have a good night.
Good night.